Hey guys, Justin with Ready Business Systems. Today is, I think it's Wednesday, June 13th. It's actually Thursday. But I'm just heading back. We picked up another new truck. We've been really stocking up on equipment this year as we grow. And this year we got a used walker mower for $6,000 in the spring. And then we're financing. We ended up buying 2 more walker mowers. A lot of times you can get the 0%. We got the 0% on those for I think 5 years for about $300 a month. And then we got a Ferris 61-inch mower because these condos we picked up, we were really ramping up on equipment because they have big, large areas we have to cut, and most of our mowers are 48-inch. We got a new trailer. We ordered in the spring because we knew we were going to need that, a bigger trailer. We bought a 2016 Chevy 3500. We've been getting them from this dealership, this local dealership. We used to get them online, because most people will ship a new truck anywhere in the country, but this local dealership's been taking good care of us, and they got trucks that are, I found that buying the really used trucks, a really old truck, a dump truck, basically people never take care of them. That's why I started buying a brand new, because a Honda Civic that you commute to work with is probably going to be taken care of, but a dump truck or a used mower, people usually are so busy doing the work because they're usually one-man operations that they don't take care of their stuff, and they're throwing rocks in it. It's not like a commuting car with highway miles. They're usually beat up. So for that reason, I started getting new trucks because we wanted reliable ones. We were dumping too much money into ones that people didn't take care of, like old diesels. But now we're kind of going towards the trucks that are, a few years old, that the last 2 have had, I think, 20,000 miles on them or less. So in 20,000 miles, you really can't do too much harm to a truck. We've also, based on bad experiences, we never buy a truck that's ever been plowed with because they're usually even more beat up, and the front end, they usually end up having front end problems. So I stay clear of those, and usually end up getting definitely either Ford or Chevy. Honestly, I think the Ford trucks are better, but we've been getting both. But the reason I was making this video is because I wanted to talk to you about the truck financing in general and the rule of thumb to buying equipment. So before I bought this truck, I ran our budget. We have a spreadsheet that I'll make a separate video about down the road that has a list of all of our overhead that we require to run the company in a year. And into this overhead, from an accountant's point of view, you're going to have depreciation, which isn't actually a real number, because that's not the money that's in your bank account. At the end of the day, you need to have the cash flow to keep your company alive and keep cash in the bank account. If you plan around things like depreciation, that's not a real number. It's not going to line up with what cash you have in your bank account. So what we do for budgeting purposes is it's a cash-based budget. So we have, and I do have a free pricing web sheet available for download on the website, but it basically lists all your actual cash expenses that you're going to have for the year. So what we'll actually put in those, we won't put depreciation in our budget, and we won't build our required pricing off of our budget, but we will build it based off of, we won't put depreciation in the budget, but we will put in the actual payments on vehicles. So we'll put, if these trucks are, $500 to $900 a month, we'll put that in our costs. We'll do $500 or $900 times however many payments that you have that year. So now that we're in June, we're gonna have 6 payments on this truck's around 500 something a month. So it's gonna be, $3,000 for the year out of pocket. So then what we do is we take the total number of hours we're going to work for the season, and we divide it by that, and you can figure how much that is per hour. So our trucks only end up being about 50 cents per hour. So onto our entire charge rate, every hour we bill our customers, if we can just charge them 50 cents more, then you pay for that truck. The other thing, general rule of thumb, if your business is healthy, you're generally running at about a 50% profit margin, which means that out of all the work you sell, you're going to put 50% of that to your overhead and profit. So if you bid a job for $500. $250 that's going to go to what's directly required to produce that work, your cost of goods sold, which is going to be your gas and your labor taxes and that sort of thing. The other 50% roughly is going to go to your overhead and profit. So if you're at a point where you're at zero profit, or for easy numbers, and you purchase a truck and it's going to produce $60,000 of work, you can pretty much assume that $50,000, if all your other overheads are already covered, is going to go straight to the bottom line, and you're going to end up having $30,000 of that. So for basically, if each crew produces $80,000 to $100,000 a year of work, then you're going to, if that truck is busy all the time or producing that volume of work, you're going to add that to your bottom line. Assuming that that's not going to increase your overhead, which, your overhead does not go up incrementally. You can usually, doesn't mean you're going to have to go buy a bigger building. That's going to happen in larger increments, but usually you can support another crew without increasing your overhead. So that's what I wanted to go over regarding the pricing. The other thing is, one time a consultant told me, when I had old broken down trucks and they're always breaking, I was worried. He told me, no, they'll sell you a truck. It's actually surprisingly easy if you've never financed a vehicle. I was brought up always with used vehicles, buying used vehicles, but it's really easy to buy vehicles. They don't give you a hard time. As long as you have decent credit, they're going to sell you a truck because they can always repo it, so they don't care. So you can walk in there. But what was different this year is that, which I haven't experienced, is they're requiring large down payments, like 20-25%. The first truck, they required 20% down, and this, because it's our second one in 2 months, they required 25% down on this one. But they will sell you a truck. It's easy. You build under your costs. I like it. I kind of wish I'd done it earlier, simply because if you have the volume to support buying that truck, there's enough things to worry about in running a business. You don't want to have to worry about your truck not starting, and I've been there, done that. The brake line's going, losing good employees because your trucks are pieces of crap and they don't want to work on them and they don't feel safe. I've been there, done that, and it's not fun, and it doesn't help anything. It doesn't help you get ahead. So anyway, keep that in mind when buying equipment. Just make sure that you're always justifying if it's a piece of equipment that's in use. Always make sure that you're covering your costs that are going to be associated with that piece of equipment. Always make sure you think about it thoroughly. Make sure that it's a calculated decision. But if you know your numbers, you can buy things with confidence. My manager was very hesitant buying a new truck. He said, I don't want to spend $50,000, I'm trying to keep the costs down. But when I tried to explain to him that on a piece of paper, that it's actually really easy to buy a truck, and per dollar it's going to cost us 50 cents, but if you increase your hours that you work in a season, it's actually gonna make you money and not going to actually end up costing you more money. So I had to explain to him that the hardest, there's basically 4 pieces of the puzzle. One is physical resources, which would be your truck, your equipment. Then there's human resources, which is going to be your employees. There's the manager's tolerance, how much they can handle, and then there's the work to be done. So generally speaking, I found that the hardest one of those 4 pieces of the puzzle to do is find good employees. So if you have good employees lined up, there's no excuse why you shouldn't grow your company, unless you don't have the stress tolerance and the emotional tolerance to handle the additional workload that comes with running another crew. Because the other 2 pieces of the puzzle are very easy. Finding work is very easy, and buying a vehicle is very easy. So as long as you have that hardest piece, which is what I was trying to explain to my manager, and you have the tolerance, the stress tolerance, then why not? Why not grow? Why not add on another crew? So I hope that was helpful. I'll catch you guys next time. Check out the website at readybusinesssystems.com.